Hola, buenos días, soy Nico. And I am back with a hat from Brazil. Nico, where have you been? If you've been watching my videos, you probably haven't noticed because I did a bulk record before I actually left. Basically, I was in Brazil being a video vixen. Nico, that's on that other page if you want to check that out. I'm not one of those people that does like a lot of promoting for that just because that's not my main image. And though I'm doing it as like a side passion thing to see what I can create and what I actually enjoy and how it turns out, I don't want that to be like the only thing y'all remember of me. So I've been putting out new content on that front. Check the link tree if you want to, but that's not a push or a you should. That's if you're interested. But moving on, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on Patreon at patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, weekly lives, and to be a part of the podcast. We ironed out the kink. We're gonna start recording it soon. People have actually been messaging me about it, and I appreciate the passion and the enjoying of the content. But let's get started. There was not a Friday video. Nico, why not? I did pre-record, but it was like Easter. It was Thanksgiving. I actually was super exhausted. What do you mean? I had two 13-hour flights in 1 week, and I basically had like 15 hours of sleep maximum that entire week. Not because I was overworked by anyone else, but because I'm an insomniac, and when I tell somebody I'm gonna be up at a certain time, I'm up at that time. So I was just exhausted, my ankle was swelling. Point is, I did not have the energy to edit or do anything but sleep, drink water, and rest. But moving forward, before we get started with the actual content of this video, because it's gonna be something that pertains to me personally as a bisexual, I wanted to just first acknowledge what happened at the Q Club. Nico, what happened? Unfortunately, a YT Caucasian man went into a queer space and unalived a lot of people and was only stopped by trans girls that fought back. And I really don't like how the media is misgendering them, calling them drag queens. These are transgender women who saved a lot of lives. And I'm going to acknowledge the people that lost theirs, and I'm going to also put up the beat up picture of the culprit. But I'm gonna insert those over here. I just wanted to make sure that before we get started on tea and gossip, that we actually acknowledge what's happening and that we're all taking safety precautions. Make sure when you go out, you keep a clear eye of the exits. Make sure that you keep a clear eye of what's happening around you. I understand you want to go out, you want to cut loose, but you have to be coherent, especially in the times that we're in America, because you know how it is, especially with the lack of pew control laws. I'm trying not to have my nervous tick because, you know, I usually giggle or chuckle when I'm discussing something serious because I'm a very nervous person. But this is a very serious situation. I just wanted to address it because I know if I just made a video solely based on this, y'all would not tune in because y'all like tea and gossip, but I really wanted to get this out there. Thank you to the trans women that stopped this man. And I'm so sorry for those that have lost loved ones, friends, and close family members. But let's get on with the tea.
Feel so much love in this room tonight. I feel a lot of heart. I feel a lot of joy. And I feel a lot of people that know exactly who they are.
I wanted to discuss something that was actually happy. Nico, y'all complain I don't come online and discuss happy things, but when I talk about happy scenarios, when I talk about queer cinema, when I talk about, you know, stuff like that, y'all tune out because y'all want mess and drama. But I'm here to talk to you about August Alsina coming out as bisexual. Nico, he is not gay. Until that man says out his mouth that he is gay, I am not putting the label on him. This conversation, though it will be about the joy of Black love, it is also going to be about bisexual erasure. Nico, what do you mean? The erasing of bisexuality happens a lot in the media, and that's kind of what happened when I originally came out. I identified as bisexual because I am, but because of the homophobic nature of one of my family members, they said just identify as gay because that's all you are, and that's what a lot of people like to see. They want to see you either pick one side or the other. That happened with Erasure. Nico, who is that? I did a video on it back a couple of months ago, where essentially his adult cinematography that he did with a plethora of people, white and black, because for some reason that matters to some people, he got leaked and he was revealed to be bisexual, and people immediately started calling him gay. And I'm starting to see the same thing happen to Alsina, because now that he's willingly come out, because this is another thing. He wasn't pressured out of the closet. He wasn't pushed to do it, because, you know, a lot of celebrities are exposed for clout culture nowadays. Alsina willingly came onto his new show that he was on, and he said, I was able to find a new form of love that I never thought possible. And he introduced his manses.
And then, what do you know? Love showed up. But in a new way. I want to share that and really honor the person that I love and that loves me back and teaching me so much about love and healing. I want to do that in front of the world, because it defies all the constructs that one would say love is supposed to be or love should look like.
Nico, how do you know that's his mans? They too close, they too lovey-dovey. A lot of people like to push it aside like, he didn't say it was his mans. Now, I'm very free and expressive, but you don't see me bringing my homeboys onto my channel talk about something. They show me how to love in a different way. Like, girl, that's his mans. But also, now that it's come out that he and his mans are public, people are trying to say, well, was the Jada Pinkett Smith thing a situation? You know, the entanglement, was that all just PR? Was that all just fake? He was secretly with Will Smith. And that's what I don't like about bisexuality erasure, is that when somebody actually has the strength and is finally ready to come out, y'all immediately try to put them in the gay zone. So the fact that Alsina willingly came out and said, I am in love with this person, and they gave me a new lease on life, because he's been through a lot. He has a lot of illnesses. He's been through multiple hospital stints, very compromised immune system. And then the whole situation with Jada and Will and mental health. I didn't appreciate how they're basically saying that he was never in a relationship with a woman, how he was never able to identify as bisexual in a sense. Because I wouldn't just say that it's just our community, because it's no, I would say that it's actually very prevalent in the Black community, that people don't believe in bisexuality unless it relates to women, because then they can put on this sexual fantasy of, ooh, me and my woman gonna have a threesome, and ooh, me and my woman gonna do this because she's bisexual. And that's sort of like a trophy thing for men and women. But when it comes to bisexual men, Issa Rae did a perfect representation of it on Insecure, where Molly had the perfect guy of her dreams. He was caring, he was sweet, he wasn't at her tax bracket as she would prefer, but overall he clicked all the boxes that she wanted in a man, and he was actually caring. But the fact that he told her that previously in his life he had experimented sexually to find out that he's actually not bisexual, but he wanted to see where that route might have taken him. And in that process, once she heard that he even experimented sexually, she immediately said he was gay, and all of her friends agreed, and she dismissed him. Later in the season, she ran into him again. She was like, oh, you're looking good. You look like you're doing good for yourself. And he's like, yeah, and here's my girlfriend. And she's like, you have a girlfriend? He's like, yes, I am straight. Like, sexual fluidity, sexual experimentation, and bisexuality as a whole in the Black community is unfortunately not taken seriously and is very dismissed, and especially in the gay community, which I find hilarious. Nico, what do you mean? I have never met such biphobia than from the LGBT community. And why I'm laughing because it's true. Because when I came out as bisexual on YouTube, because I originally identified as straight and then I identified as gay for most of my adult lifetime. But now that I'm comfortable enough in myself to say I am bisexual, I got so much pushback. I had more pushback than I had like femphobia when I came out. So a lot of communities aren't accepting of bisexual people. And the fact that August Alsina finally came out publicly and willingly from a caring place in his heart to share his love that he found with us, and people are instantly saying, oh, he's just gay. The whole thing with Jada and Will, it was a cover up because he was secretly with Will. It's just like, bisexual men exist. I forgot to add in this last part because I was more focused on the camera angling and the lighting. Point is, there are more bisexual men in the media as of late, and I feel like that's great representation, but they're not necessarily talked about in either community as prevalent as the gay artists are. As for example, Santana and Lil Nas X are constantly in queer media conversations, while openly bisexual men in the mainstream media, Tyler the Creator, Steve Lacy, there was another one at the top of my head, I'm sorry, I forgot. If I remember in the conversation, I'll randomly drop it. They aren't necessarily addressed publicly, at least not pertaining to their sexuality and being uplifted as a mode of visibility for the LGBT community. The only time they're addressed in the heterosexual community is based off of their art because they are true artists, very talented people. But in the queer community, I never really see people bring up Steve Lacy, except to discuss how he likes white men, or Tyler the Creator, except to discuss how he likes white men. I know, those are the only reasons y'all talk about them. But point is, that is representation for bisexual men, because we only really see the media pertaining to, let's say, Lil Nas X, for example. That trade that y'all are so enthralled with, you know, the DL dude that got the baby mama, that got the wife at home, that got the kids, he is bisexual. Nico, maybe that's what click it to you. Maybe that's what click it to you in your head, because a lot of y'all don't understand what bisexuality is until it's the nigga that you gotta hit up at 3 a.m. to come pull through. So yes, think of it this way. DL Trade, yes, he has a sexual outlet for men, and he has a wife and kids at home. Nico, what does that mean? Them kids got him one way or another. So he was sleeping with women and he's sleeping with you. That is a bisexual man. Until someone fully just says, I am gay, if they are sleeping with men and women, just assume bisexuality or at least experimentation. Because a lot of people, when they're coming out of the closet, they do use bisexuality as a stepping stone, as a way to cushion it, saying, I'm not fully gay, you know, I'm still part of the heteronormativity. But in reality, that is a legitimate category that people exist in. I've met some amazing bisexual men. I have some amazing bisexual male friends. I have bisexual female friends. My ex-fiance was bisexual as well. So, I mean, it's just like bisexual men exist, you know what I mean? So the whole erasure of it is kind of disturbing to me when this is supposed to be a joyous occasion. So definitely drop your opinions down below. How do you feel about the situation? Do you believe that August Alsina is gay? Or do you believe that he is just being expressive in his bisexuality or his sexual experimentation? Because once again, he has not came out and identified, you know, which sexuality he prefers to lean on. And honestly, I don't believe that's any of our business, because today's social media culture has made us believe that celebrities have to blatantly come out and explain their sexuality. I've never had a random conversation with a stranger and said, but you have to tell me if you're gay or straight. So I definitely want to hear your opinions on it. Do you believe that he shouldn't even have to address it? Or do you believe that it's a shame that bisexuality is continuously erased in the media, especially in this scenario where just a few years ago, him and Jada was the talk of town. You know, everybody was like, ooh, he's smashing a married woman, blah, 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 blah. They're in an open relationship. But now that he confesses that he's actually in a relationship currently with a man, suddenly, oh, that was a facade and he was secretly with Will and there's no possible way that he could genuinely be bisexual. Also, definitely drop your respects down for the victims of the Q Club incident. There are certain words that I can't say, but we all know that this is a stark contrast in media coverage from the Pulse Club incident, where they tried to politicize it because the aggressor was of a different nationality and a different skin tone. But this one isn't really being talked about as much. And that's something that I wanted to address in this video as well, because it's stuff that I pick up on because, you know, I just be watching too many things, but it's a stark contrast about how the media is covering this. But definitely drop your opinions down below. Also, I plan on doing a video about the behind the scenes of being, you know, a video vixen. You know, what it says to say, I could beat that hoochie for you. Do you need me? Yes, I can do a video on that. Because going to Brazil as a reporter, in theory, is different than going as a performer, because that's a lot more exhausting and it was a lot more stressful. But if you are interested on the behind the scenes of being a performer, I would definitely drop that down below, because I'm always down to give you guys different experiences and different, you know, insights and stuff like that. Also, let me know if you like this new like angle change, because my tripod broke in Brazil. So I'm having to use like my ring light selfie stick thing. And I kind of like this little design because my background is more eye-catching. I'm gonna put something up there as well, just so that it matches the motif, but bear with me. But yeah. Boop. So boom, fast forward. In Brazil, I actually deleted a lot of my video files because I was trying to make space, and I did not realize I deleted some of my YouTube files, so I had to go and do actual voiceovers for the new outro. But I'm actually going to start saying you guys' names, your usernames on Patreon out loud, because I genuinely appreciate you and all the support and love you bring to my channel. So this one is going out to Kenneth and Devrin W. Feel free to subscribe if you want me to read out wacky names, because I will say it and properly butcher it. And this week for the live stream, we'll actually be discussing being gay versus bisexual in the mainstream media. So if that sounds interesting, definitely tune in.